Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 delivers its first misfire, with an illogical Vulcan episode that has some fun moments but ultimately feels like a letdown. Strange New Worlds has taken some pretty big swings throughout its tenure on Paramount+, and most of them have paid off with flying colors. While Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 8, 4.5 Vulcans, isn't bad, it feels like a step down from the earlier episodes of the season, especially after the excellent documentary episode, What is Starfleet? 4.5 Vulcans begins when the Enterprise receives a request for assistance from the Vulcan High Command. To aid the Vulcans with a mission to the pre-warp civilization on Tazar, Captain Christopher Pike and several of his crew members turn into Vulcans. This process requires a serum made by the Kirkovians from Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 5, Charades, which saw Lieutenant Spock turned into a human. In many ways, 4.5 Vulcans feels like a spiritual successor to Charades, as it features a similar plot full of Vulcan hijinks. However, the humor of 4.5 Vulcans didn't land quite as well for me, and I found myself asking questions the episode never addressed.
Captain Pike and his crew make fascinating Vulcans.
Captain Pike, Lieutenant La'an Noonien-Singh, Nurse Christine Chapel, and Ensign Nyota Uhura all take the serum to become full Vulcans. It doesn't work on Commander Pelia, much to her disappointment. Spock accompanies Pike and the landing party, and they complete the mission to Tezar in record time. As the viewer, we don't get to see any of the mission to Tezar, which is slightly disappointing. But when the landing party returns, the serum meant to convert them back to humans doesn't work. Stuck as Vulcans, Pike, La'an, Chapel, and Uhura navigate their lives with their newfound logic, leading to numerous complications. Pike sabotages Captain Batel's meeting with Admiral Pasalk, Chapel cuts herself off from everyone and devotes herself to research, Uhura mind melds with Beta Ortegas, and La'an tries to start an intergalactic war. While some of these Vulcan attributes make sense for the characters, it doesn't fully track that turning into Vulcans would alter them in this way. The Vulcans we have seen throughout Star Trek do not act like this. 4.5 Vulcans sort of explains this by saying that Pike and his crew members' Katras are still human, but it all feels, quite frankly, illogical. While the episode has some funny moments, it sometimes feels like it's making fun of Vulcans, which doesn't sit right.
Kirk and Scotty make a great team.
Perhaps the best team-up of the episode comes when Lieutenant Commander James T. Kirk visits the Enterprise and reconnects with Lieutenant Scotty. Upon his arrival via the transporter, Kirk greets Scotty, telling his future chief engineer to refer to him as Jim, considering their shared near-death experience in the Selot who ate its tail. Kirk and Scotty then sit down for a drink with Vulcan La'an, who has developed an obsession with making the Enterprise as formidable as possible. La'an eventually decides she wants to start a war between all of the major powers in the galaxy, and Kirk and Scotty must find a way to stop her. Kirk and Scotty's interactions lead to some of the best scenes in the episode, as they quickly develop a rapport that bodes well for the pair's future. Paul Wesley, Martin Quinn, and the rest of the cast do a great job as usual, and the newly Vulcanized cast members give it their all and are clearly having a lot of fun. Uhura and Beto are adorable as always, and Vulcan Chapel's decision to cut everyone off makes perfect sense for her character. Pike and Batel are fine, but their storyline feels like a rehash of things the show has already covered, although it's nice to see Batel is feeling better after her Gorn stare a few episodes ago.
Number 1 has a Vulcan X named Doug? When Pike, La'an, Chapel, and Uhura decide they wish to remain Vulcan, Number 1 and Spock meet with the rest of the senior officers to discuss their next steps. Una eventually reveals that she has a spiritualist Vulcan X named Doug, who is a Katra expert. While it's always great to see Patton Oswalt, his storyline with Una feels like something out of a 1990s comedy. The tall, beautiful Illyrian and the short, average-looking Vulcan have too much chemistry, making it impossible for them to focus on anything else in one another's presence. Una has often been relegated to the background this season, and I wish she had gotten a better story than this one. Spock discusses the situation with Doug, and he apparently shows Spock how to connect with his crew members' Katras, but we don't get to see any of that.
Instead, 4.5 Vulcans skip straight to sickbay, where Pike, Chapel, and Uhura all return to their human selves, horrified by their behavior as Vulcans. Spock then forms a connection with La'an inside her head, where a fistfight between the two turns into a passionate dance that brings La'an back to herself. While Strange New Worlds Season 3 has emphasized La'an's love of dancing, this instance feels out of place, and the scene glosses over La'an's connection with infamous augment dictator Noonien-Singh. Overall, 4.5 Vulcans is a weird episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds that didn't work for me as well as this season's other comedic episodes. It delivers some genuine laughs and will likely be fun for many fans, but with only 10 episodes per season, I wish we'd gotten something with a bit more depth.